CAC here with Everything Residential and Commercial. Today we're going to show you how to convert your carport to a beautiful garage. So here's kind of the before of what it looked like. It's kind of a carport slash garage, and as you can tell, the walls are actually touching the concrete. There's no stem wall. So we're gonna have to demo this entire thing. The entire slab comes out. So we got our architect, we got our plans, we got our permit. Now it's time to go ahead and move forward. The first step is going to be saw cutting exactly where our footing's gonna go. So we saw cut all around the perimeter. The footing is essentially 2 feet by 2 feet. If I recall, it's actually 18 wide by 2 feet deep, and then you have to have a 6-inch stem wall on top. Here's what it looks like after we saw cut. Love that Hilti saw, does a great job. Quick interruption. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. And if you know anybody that might be interested in this type of work or is going to do this project, go ahead and send it to them. It helps me out tremendously and it helps grow the business. Let's continue on. We actually get a 2x8 with a 2x4 and we nail it to each other down here. And then we tapcon this into the concrete and it holds it upright. You see that? Then we're gonna use 2x4s and screw it, and it's gonna support the back side of the stem wall. Now we could have put stakes in here, but essentially we're gonna pull them out once the concrete's poured. 2x6 width wall right here. It's for the header above the garage door, 18-foot garage door. Now the details are pretty simple. We got our J bolts lined up where they need to go. We have our hold downs. These are STH D8, or actually D10 Simpson hold downs. We have number 4, come around here, look at all this rebar. So we have our sticker rebar doweled into the existing footing. We have 2 J bars right here, are the base for the footing. We have a second, number 4, going horizontal right here. And we have another, if you look inside here, we have another number 4 right near the stem wall. And then we have J bars, 18-inch on center right here. We had to skip the footing, this big old footing we skipped. And right here is how you have a solidified stem wall. While we're waiting for the inspection to be approved, we spent the rest of the day getting rid of the trusses. Just something to do, load up the dumpster while it's there. And yeah, that was really fun. But here's kind of what it looks like with the stem wall poured. We didn't really take many videos of it. It was kind of hectic that day, but we got it all poured. Make sure your stem wall is level and straight. You don't really have to worry about a good finish.
Here we go, we got Nathan Great on the seat, huh? Let's see it.
Good day for some concrete. So concrete day is always super exciting. So we ordered about a 5-inch slump of concrete, and you can see we're screeding it here. And we have a chalk line on the inside of the stem wall and on the house, so we can slope the concrete for any kind of water getting in the garage. It can slope out to the driveway. It dries so quick here in Arizona. It's 95 probably degrees right now. It's summertime. It sets up, so there's no like sitting around nonstop. We're just constantly working it. We got the Fresno out right now. Nate the Great's killing it. But yeah, the actual finished floor, it doesn't really matter what it looks like. It could just be kind of rough. You know, it could be a mag finish. They're doing an epoxy floor on it. But anyways, we still do a broom finish. But we hit the steel probably 2 times on it. I went probably 2 times with the steel after it sets up, and then we're broom finishing. And as you can see here, here's the broom finish. Ended up looking really nice. And yeah, look at that. Looks really nice. We have chalk lines set up for our saw cut guys to come out there and saw cut. Now you can see the chalk line that's really close to the stem wall. That's where our footing is, and there's a small crack occurring right now. So what we did is we crowned all our studs. We got all our holes drilled out and did a line right here to make sure it's perfectly lined up and straight. Nate's nailing them in right now. Now here's something we did. We had our laser, and on our laser we marked right here. If you can see that, we marked it right there. And then we measured up to where the stud's gonna end. And then we got our laser and traced that on every single stud all the way. That way it's gonna be perfectly level on top. Because sometimes the stem wall might dip a little bit and we wanna avoid the dip. For framing's always such a good time. Framing's like one of my favorite things to do when like building garages and houses. It's fun. You're outdoors with the boys, playing some music. But yeah, we get the wall up, and it was kind of heavy. You know, it wasn't sheathed or anything. Didn't need a crane or anything like that or lift. But we get it into place. The J-bolts, I believe, on that stem wall are like, I think it's every 4 or 5 feet. The typical for a house is every 72 inches, but engineered it that way. So once we get the wall up, we're gonna brace it. Now this is really important. Make sure the ends are plumb, and then we go ahead and get a string line right here, and we're gonna adjust the middle part of the wall to make it straight, so the wall's not curving and bowing in and out. And we get like some 20-foot 2x4s, and you can probably use 16, depends on what you want to do. But yeah, it's pretty much that. Then we're gonna go ahead and remove these trusses. All right, here's the fun part, installing the glulam beam. The beam itself is probably, I think, 12 inches by 5.5. That's why we have a 2x6 wall up front there. And it's probably about 19 feet. We cut it down to size. But the Home Depot, where we rent the material lift to crank it up into place, they like discontinued it, or they put a stop for a safety reason. So we had to use some Egyptian techniques here. We put that A-frame ladder right in the middle, and then we used it to leverage it up on one side. Instead of like having 2 ladders and people lifting it up, it's kind of a safety issue. Once it's up on one side, then we could both lift it up on one side and put it in place, and it was really heavy. And we actually have some 2x6 blocking on the back so it doesn't fall off. Put some GRKs in there, it's good to go. If you look above me here, we have a bunch of trusses that we cut in half. Now you old school fellas used to tell me when I first started, go get a stud extender. But let me tell you what we're gonna do today. We're gonna do a truss extender. We're gonna get the trusses, we're gonna cut them in half, and then we're gonna butt our new trusses into them. So we're not putting a full truss into place. We're gonna butt them in. So we ordered half trusses, and we have an engineer, and we're gonna engineer them into these existing trusses so we can extend our garage out. So before we start cutting all the trusses, we have to make sure we support this top cord. So we screwed on one side of it to support the top cord, because if we cut this, see that web right there, it's kind of holding it stiff. If we cut this and remove it, this top cord will bow down. So we're holding it up firm. We're gonna get them cut, and the screws on this side where it's gonna be existing, this is all going to the trash. And then from there, we're gonna do our sistering of all the 2x6s and 2x4s and get it strengthened up. And then once it's strengthened up, we'll then remove it. So that's the game plan. So we got all the trusses cut, and now we have a 2x4 supporting it right now. Without this 2x4 here, you know, something could happen. It could like pinch down and bend down. So this is where we're at right now. Next up is we're gonna get our sistering going, and then we'll rock and roll. While we're waiting for the trusses to get dropped off, you can see what it looks like, and we're prepared for the new truss to set in there. 2x6s on the top cord and 2x4s underneath. Jesus. This is always a really fun part, setting trusses. So we're gonna go ahead and get our trusses and put them into place. And you can kind of see our framing up top there where the old trusses are. It just kind of sits right in place. We don't have to brace it. The 2x6s hold it in place. So this is what it looks like for half trusses to go in there. Now look at that detail right there. 2x6s on the top cord and 2x4s underneath to help support that 2x6. And it's probably going to be 16 penny nails all the way up and down it. You don't have to use any lag bolts or lag screws. The nailing's just fine for it. But once we got that side up, we went ahead and put on the other side. So here's what it looks like. And on the back side, you can see the heel. There's a big heel, so it can match the existing truss slope. So we're gonna rock this plywood. This is 1/2 inch OSB, rocking it. It goes really quick when you have a couple guys. If you have 3 guys, it probably goes even quicker, but 2 guys is enough. Here's kind of what it looks like at the end of the day. Now we're ready to rock and roll on the rest of it. So we went ahead and put plywood on top, didn't get a time lapse of that, but we're using 19/32 plywood on the front, and we have 1/2 inch OSB on the back. Now leave a comment of why you think we did this. It's kind of a weird circumstance. I bet you nobody gets it. If you ask the question, I'll let you know. But there's what it looks like. Now on the bottom cord of the trusses, they were really wonky because it took 3 2x4s to make that bottom cord, and they like moved. The top cord was very straight, so we actually had to get strings and put string lines all along the bottom cord, and then we straightened the bottom cord out so the drywallers can put the drywall on, and just to help them out, you know what I mean? So we got our blocking in. The reason we waited for the blocking is because we were waiting on the roof guy to tell us to do bird blocking or regular blocking, but we didn't have time. There's a schedule to maintain, so we had to rock and roll. It ended up being regular blocking because he's doing like these big old vents on top, like a special type of vent. Not a ridge vent, not a twirly bird, but a different type of vent. But yeah, we got the OSB on everywhere. It's really fun. Make sure you do your nail pattern. These hold downs take 3.5-inch 16-penny nails, and our nailing for around the OSB is, I think, every 6 to 8 inches everywhere on every stud. So we did that all over, and it really came together. Once the strapping is complete, we go ahead and put on the WRB, which is a Owen Corning, I think it's a Shield product. It's like a little upgraded one for air barrier, water resistant. But we get it all up in place, and now our building is pretty much dried in. The roofers are coming in a couple days to dry in the top, and then we'll have a watertight building. Here's what it looks like once the entire WRB is up and installed. Now we are ready to put the roof on. We got some architectural shingles installed, and now our building is watertight, and now we're gonna shoot for frame inspection. Okay, that is part one of a conversion from a carport to a garage. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys have any questions, leave a comment down below. Make sure you like, subscribe, and part two is coming of the finished product, and it's already done. We have the entire siding on, epoxy floors. We're making the video right now. So as always, you guys have a great day.